Alright, what's up you guys? Welcome back to the channel. This is your boy Finn, again back with another Diablo Immortal video. And actually for today's video, as you can see on the first clip, we were able to complete all the Inferno 8 essences. So I was able to experiment some new builds that we can use. This is actually a PvE build that we can use for dungeons, reliquary raids, bounties, and also I'm gonna be tackling about a few variations that we can use this build. So if you want movement speed, if you want attack speed, or if you want pure damage. Alright, so let's go ahead and start. So I want to get started with the skills that we are going to be using. The first one is of course Abomination. The second one is Whirling Strike. The third one is Shadow Knight, and then Sanguinate, and our primary attack is gonna be Ravage. So I'm gonna discuss why I am actually using Ravage right now. So for the set items, I am currently using 4 pieces of Vithus Urges, as you can see. 4 piece of Vithus Urges, and then 4 piece of Grace of the Flagellant. And for let's go ahead and jump in with the essences. So of course, the first essence that we are using, as always, this is actually my favorite, it's Fjorda's Death Mask, this one. So if we have a read here, it says Whirling Strike also increases your damage done by 5.7% for 2 seconds for each enemy hit, stacking up to a maximum of 28.5%. So this is going to be always active at 28.5%, especially if we are inside a dungeon where there is a lot of mobs. Now, since I believe they fixed this, the Moon Wraith, once we use this with the new Inferno 8 essence that normally call it before, the Shadow Knight is actually not showing up. It's definitely not attacking, so they actually fixed this with the update today. So I'm gonna be using Moon Wraith for the chest. And if we have a read here, it says Warden, Shadow Knight now empowers you for a short while, causing you to conjure a shadowy apparition to attack nearby enemies when you take damage, which is of course gonna synergize with our shoulders. So Gnarly Gullet, Gore Thrower, Abomination no longer consumes anger to transform, and its primary attack now consumes life to throw globs of gore at enemies. So every time that we attack, Moonwraith is gonna be activated. Now just take a note that when you use Moonwraith, the shadow apparitions is gonna use Ravage. It's gonna utilize Ravage even if you are using Shadow's Edge. So that's for the shoulders. And then for the pants, this is for a solo target build, Bloody Concession. This is good for bosses, for reliquary raids. While Abomination is active, your primary attack causes enemies to bleed, dealing 14,700 damage per second for 3 seconds. There is actually another variation that we can use this, although we won't be needing a lot of AoE because we have another skill which is actually AoE. But just in case that you are an AoE person, we can actually use Reliable Peril. Abomination also conjures an unholy aura around you for the duration of your transformation, which is gonna deal damage every second to nearby enemies. Now, this is the Inferno 8 Essence, the Chimeric Favor, but I actually tried using this, but it didn't do well. It's kind of like an Echoing Shade legendary gem, although it's an active one. You have to press it, and then it's gonna summon Abomination Illusions, which is gonna utilize your primary attack, but it didn't do well. That's why I am using the old one, which is Bloody Concession. And for the first offhand, I'm going to be using Maul Air Response, and as I mentioned, this is one of our AoE skill. And if we have a read here, Counter Sweep, Whirling Strike now causes you to counter attack, damaging all nearby enemies when you take damage. Additionally, you heal yourself for a portion of damage done. So there is a survivability aspect as well in this build, which is nice. This is also going to synergize with our shoulders. So same effect as Moonwraith. When we take damage, this is going to be activated. So for the second offhand, since Moonwraith is going to be utilizing the Ravage, we are going to be using Exquisite Silence. So Ravage now causes the enemies to bleed. That's additional damage, of course. Ravage now causes enemy to bleed, dealing 14,000 damage over 3 seconds, just like this one. just like Bloody Concession, so another bleed. And then the first offhand that we are going to be using is another Ravage, um, because we are going to be utilizing the Moon Rape skill. So Ravage also deals an additional 8,000 damage to bleeding enemies, so since they are going to be bleeding with Bloody Concession and Ravage, it's going to be additional damage. And this is the last offhand, or the second offhand that we are going to be using, and this is the Inferno 8 Essence. It's called Rose Tall. Abomination primary attacks have a 10% chance to trigger a Bloody Claw that deals 40,000 damage. The Bloody Claw's chance to trigger increases as your remaining life decreases. Now, it's not always the case that you are going to be at low life during dungeons, because you are going to be healed by the Whirling Strike, of course, but just in case that you are going to be at low life, it's going to have a 30% chance to trigger the Abomination Claw. Now, let's jump into the Paragon. For the Paragon, of course, I'm going to be using the Slinger Paragon tree. So Uncanny, Spell Surge, Unseen Dynamism, Gifted, and the last one is Sharp Eye. Now for the Legendary Gems, I will be using Bottled Hope for beneficial effect duration and attack speed, of course. Rolling Consequence for critical hits, or critical hit chance, and then for damage again, Colossus Engine. Another damage and movement speed is BSJ, Blood Soul Jade. For critical hit damage, this is a Rolling Consequence for chance, this is for damage. Going to be using Blood Flow, and then Wolf Yard, and then Gloomcast, of course, because we are going to be using a lot of primary attack. And then the last one is actually a 2-star legendary gem, which is going to synergize with our critical hits, which is Spectre Glass. And for the familiar, I am actually using the one with Lingering Wounds. This one, if you have a read here, Lingering Wounds, enemies affected by abnormal status from familiar active skill takes 12.7% of additional damage. Now for the Reforge, I am using the Vengeance family attribute. This one, it says your primary attacks have a 2% chance to increase all damage you deal by 100% for 1 second. I'm actually using that to all of my legendary items. Now, you need to make sure that all of your set items has a skill cooldown or reduction, and you also have beneficial effect duration on your legendary items to make sure that all of your skill is going to be 100% uptime, which is really critical in this build. Now I am actually using, for the curse, I'm using Lashed 4 pieces for damage and Atrophied for another damage. So that's basically all that I can provide, or I can discuss with you right now. So let's go ahead and do a 1-minute damage test. Let's see how well we can actually do, or how much damage we can deal for this one. So as you can see on my previous video, which is this one, we were able to deal I believe 220 million for 1 minute with all the builds that I've discussed there. But let's see what will happen, or let's see if we'll be able to deal a lot more damage now, since we are going to be using a lot more essences. So as you can see, we are going to be using, or the way it works is we are going to be using the Shadow of Night first, and then the Whirling Strike, and then Abomination, and just keep attacking. So let's start. Alright, so we are actually starting. As you can see, we are picking at 15 million damage per second. So let's just go ahead and see if we were able to get past the 220 million that we've done before. As you can see, the shadow operations is actually crazy. The Ravage, okay, I pressed the wrong button, but let's see. Still, I pressed the wrong button. I was about to activate actually the Shadow Knight, but yeah. So we are still we are only at 30-second mark, and we are already past the 220 million, which is kind of crazy for me. So let's see, we are at the 45-second mark. So the way I actually do it is, once the Whirling Strike and Shadow of Night effect is gone, I actually press the Abomination and then activate them again, and then there you go. Okay, let's stop it now. Wow, okay, that is crazy. So as you can see, we've dealt a lot of damage there. That's 355 million for 1 minute. Definitely a lot more powerful than the first one that we did before. So, and take note, guys, the whirling strike, which is the helm that we are using, this one, it actually boosted our damage by 5.7% only, because this is only one mob. Now imagine if you are inside a dungeon and there's a lot of mobs around you, so definitely it will deal a lot more damage. So I guess we can actually try and do a challenge dungeon. Let's see how well this will actually perform inside the challenge dungeon. So I'm gonna go ahead and find a challenge dungeon, and I'll see you guys inside. Alright, well, as you can see there, we were able to deal a lot of damage actually on that dungeon, although it's actually it has a modifier, which is big problem, which is sometimes when there is a modifier which is big problem, or if it's S class, we actually deal a lot of damage for some reason, which I'm not really sure why. So that is basically it for the build. Now for the variation, you can definitely, already mentioned the reliable peril here, but for this one, instead of the Ferryman's Lantern, which is gonna deal a lot more damage for bleeding enemies, you can actually use the Ravage one, which is this Vicious Talisman for the attack speed, because it's gonna actually boost the attack speed of your Ravage or your Abomination for some reason. I'm not entirely sure why. So for that, and I actually use this one as well, the for the Ravage essence, which is the Winged Anointment, but it does not do well. The performance is actually not that great. I think I'm short for, like, I believe 20 million or 30 million of damage instead of 330. And then I did not use the new essence, the Inferno 8 essence on the main hand, which is the Mangler's Grove, because as I mentioned, while you are inside a dungeon or Heliquary boss raid, this actually requires you to have a low health for it to trigger it. At least 3% of maximum life is lost for you to have an additional attack speed. So I did not use this because I will always have a full health, or sometimes I will have full health inside a dungeon. So that's basically all that I guess I can provide right now. Shout out to this is actually my friend Ishi right here, really nice. So yeah, that is all for the build. And well, of course, if you have any questions or any suggestions, or if you are already utilizing this build, just let me know in the comments down below. And I guess that's it for now. I'll see you all guys in the sanctuary, and happy gaming. Please like and subscribe, guys. It really helps me and it really helps the channel. Thank you.